Have you ever felt exhausted from constantly trying to please everyone around you? As if, for decades, you have been living more for others than for yourself? As we step into our 60s, many people still cling to things that no longer serve them, expectations that were never truly theirs, habits that weigh heavily on the spirit. But in truth, simply reaching this age is already an achievement, a gift, and that gift only becomes complete when we start letting go of the things that quietly steal our inner peace. This is no longer the time to chase perfection or to burden ourselves with roles that no longer fit. This is the time to breathe easier, live more truthfully, and choose only what truly matters. Happiness, it turns out, does not come from what we add to our lives, but from what we dare to let go of. And today, we are going to embark on a new journey together, a journey to release 6 things that no longer serve you after the age of 60. So that every morning, you can wake up feeling lighter, more fulfilled, and truly living for yourself. Farewell to the habit of hoarding, to live more lightly. Have you noticed? Over the years, the things that pile up in our homes are often a reflection of what we carry in our hearts, memories, regrets, and sometimes, fear of letting go. There are items that have sat untouched in a closet for decades, never used, yet we still hold on to them, because maybe I will need it one day. Or, it holds a memory. An old work shirt, a wobbly chair your husband once repaired, or gifts from loved ones who have passed away. Every item carries a story. But sometimes it is those very stories that unintentionally make our minds feel overcrowded. After the age of 60, we begin to see more clearly. Peace does not come from what we own, but from what we are brave enough to release. The space in our homes, just like in our hearts, can only feel lighter when we dare to open the doors, clear things out, and say goodbye to what no longer serves a purpose. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It simply means choosing to hold on to what still brings value to our lives today. When the drawers are less crammed and the corners less cluttered, the home feels more spacious, and the mind, surprisingly clearer and lighter. Try asking yourself just once, does this item still bring me joy? Does it serve the life I live now? If the answer is no, then perhaps it is time to give it a new journey, by passing it along to someone who needs it more. Or simply letting go so you can move forward. We do not need much to feel complete. A cozy home, a few dear loved ones, and a peaceful heart, that is enough. Because in the end, true value is not found in what we accumulate, but in who we become, day by day. Let go of the fear of being judged. You no longer have to live to please everyone. All your life, you have tried to be loved, to be proper, to please your parents, your children, your friends, even people who were never that important. Every time someone looked at you with disapproval, your heart tightened. A single careless comment could keep you up at night, overthinking. But eventually, especially after turning 61, you come to realize, you cannot keep living someone else's life. It is exhausting to constantly wonder, do they think I am good enough? Will I be laughed at if I do this? These questions, repeated over and over in your mind like an unspoken habit, have silently stolen your inner freedom for years. The truth is, everyone sees the world through their own lens, shaped by their experiences, their pain, and their expectations. And if you spend your life trying to meet everyone's standards, you will lose sight of who you truly are. The beautiful thing about life after 61 is that you have come far enough to truly know yourself. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need others' approval to feel worthy. Compliments do not send you soaring for long anymore. And criticism does not crush you the way it once did. True freedom begins the moment you can say, I am at peace with who I am, no matter what others think. And you know what? That feeling of living authentically, with no masks, no walls, is one of the greatest gifts that come with aging. When you stop fearing how others see you, you create space for what truly matters: laughter, connection, and inner peace. Not because you have become selfish, but because you have come to understand one thing clearly: the most important acceptance comes from within. Say goodbye to obsessing over appearance. You are most beautiful when you are truly yourself. How many times have you stood in front of the mirror and sighed at a few new wrinkles? Or felt like you are no longer beautiful enough, the way you once were? How often have you scrolled past anti-aging ads and wondered if you are somehow falling behind? All our lives, We have been surrounded by images of perfection, smooth, glowing skin, slim figures, not a strand of gray hair in sight. These images make us believe that, to be accepted or loved, we must cling to our youth and look younger than our age. But the truth, dear friend, is not that. After turning 60, our bodies change, and that is completely natural. But instead of hiding from it, maybe it is time to look in the mirror and smile. Because every wrinkle is a mark of the life you have lived, joyful days, tearful nights, memories deeply held. These are not things to hide, but medals of a life fully lived. Taking care of yourself is absolutely worth doing, but not to chase someone else's standard. We exercise not to flatten our stomachs, but to keep our hearts strong. We eat well not to turn back the clock, but so we have the energy to truly live the years that still lie ahead. True beauty shines through a smile in your eyes, in the confidence of walking into a room without needing to hide anything. It is the beauty of someone who has lived, who has loved, and who still holds so much hope. And most importantly, you do not owe anyone a socially approved appearance. This body, with all its signs of time, has carried you through every high and low. It deserves love, not judgment. So today, if you look in the mirror, look beyond the skin and silver hair. See the resilient, genuine person still glowing in their own unique way. Because that is beauty no time can ever take away. Let go of activities that no longer bring you joy. Have you ever found yourself doing something simply because you are used to it? Even though your heart is no longer in it? Maybe it is a club you no longer enjoy, a group of friends whose conversations now leave you feeling drained, or social gatherings that feel empty the moment you return home. After years of living in the cycle of, I have to, I should, or everyone else is doing it, there comes a time, especially after the age of 61, when you get the chance to pause and ask yourself, does this still bring me joy? If the answer is no, you have every right to step away, not because you are lazy or irresponsible, but because you have lived long enough to understand. Life should not be filled with things that leave you feeling exhausted. There are many things that once brought happiness, but as time passes, people and feelings change. What used to excite you may no longer fit who you are today, and that is perfectly okay. Instead of holding on to activities that no longer make your heart beat faster, try stepping outside your comfort zone. It could be a painting class, growing vegetables, evening walks, or rereading old books you once loved. Take a moment to remember what once lit you up inside, and give yourself permission to feel that spark again. And do not forget, you do not have to be good at something to enjoy it. You do not need praise. You do not need to win awards. If it makes you happy, that is more than enough. This is the time to rearrange your life the way you would tidy up an old drawer. Keep what brings light to your heart, and gently wrap up what has run its course. Because you deserve a life that is not only full, but also full of inspiration. There is no age too late to begin again, and nothing is ever too small if it makes you smile from the depths of your soul. Step away from relationships that leave you drained. Some relationships stay in our lives not because they still hold meaning, but simply because we are used to them. Used to being hurt, used to being judged, used to not being truly heard, so much so that we begin to think it is normal. But you know what? Peace cannot exist in an environment filled with tension and negativity. And you do not have to sacrifice your own sense of calm just to maintain a relationship, for the sake of it. Maybe it is a friend who always carries a dark cloud, dragging down your mood every time you share something joyful. Maybe it is a family member who leaves you feeling more drained than uplifted after every encounter. No matter who it is, if the relationship makes you feel small, controlled, or unappreciated, then maybe it is time to let it go. At 61, this is not the time to keep enduring out of obligation. This is the time to prioritize yourself, to surround yourself with people who bring you a sense of safety, ease, and joy in living. Letting go does not mean hating or cutting someone off in anger. Sometimes, it simply means stepping back to protect your own well-being. You might limit your time with certain people, shift how you communicate, or quietly stop trying so hard to hold on to something that no longer fits your life. And most importantly, you do not owe anyone your endurance. Kindness does not mean sacrificing your self-respect or your inner peace. When you are brave enough to release unhealthy relationships, you will find space in your life, and in your heart, begin to open up. That is when new, loving, and authentic connections have a chance to find you. You deserve to be with people who make you feel whole, not those who make you question your worth. Stop comparing your life to others. Your journey is unique and worth celebrating. How many times have you looked at someone, a neighbor, an old acquaintance, or even a stranger online, and sighed, thinking, why does their life seem so comfortable, while I am still struggling? Or quietly wished, if only I had a life like theirs. Comparison is a sweet but ruthless trap. It seeps into your thoughts, slowly eroding your self-worth and shrinking your own joys into something small and insignificant. From a young age, we were taught to score higher, do better, live more properly, and unless we are careful, that habit follows us into our later years, leaving us constantly feeling like we are falling short. Like we are never quite good enough, never quite successful enough. But after 60, we hold the most precious gift of all, experience. You have lived, loved, stumbled, and stood back up, and that journey, whether or not it sparkles like someone else's, deserves to be honored. Because no two lives are the same. Everyone comes from a different background, walks a different path, and faces their own set of struggles, losses, and choices. Maybe you do not have a big house or a hefty bank account, but you have warm family dinners, the laughter of your grandchild in your arms, and quiet afternoons listening to your favorite music. Value is not found in having more than someone else. It is found in whether you are living true to yourself. And there is such relief in realizing you do not need to live anyone else's life. You do not need to chase things that were never meant for you. What you need is to live fully the life you already have, with gratitude, and with a kind gaze back at all you have been through. When you let go of comparison, your mind becomes clearer, your heart opens wider, and that is when you truly begin to see your life, even with its imperfections, is still beautifully, undeniably yours. It is time to live for yourself, gently, authentically, and deservingly. After so many years of living for responsibility, for others, for the things we were supposed to do, turning 61 is not just a milestone, it is a doorway into a new chapter, filled with freedom and depth. This is not the time to keep holding on tightly to what has already run its course, to exhausting relationships, to worries about appearances, or to the expectations of others. This is the time to let go, not because you are weak, but because you are finally strong enough to know what truly matters. You no longer have to live by someone else's standards. You do not need to collect material things that bring no joy. You do not need to say yes to every invitation, every duty, every relationship that no longer feels healthy. You have the right to say no. You have the right to choose yourself. You have the right to live a gentle life, true to your own values, and in line with your deepest desires. When you are brave enough to let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for better things to come in, warm connections, forgotten passions, simple joys that are deeply meaningful. And you know what? Happiness has never been some distant destination, it has always been right here. In each mindful choice, in every morning you wake up and know you are living truthfully, fully, and in alignment with who you really are. So, if today you feel ready, start now. You do not need to change the whole world. You just need the courage to change how you see and treat yourself. Because 61 is not the end, it is a soft, promising new beginning. If today's message touched something in your heart, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, so you can continue walking with us on these meaningful journeys ahead. And if you have thoughts, reflections, or experiences to share, leave a comment below. We truly treasure every word from you, because every story is a beautiful part of this life.